Welcome to Come Follow Me. Today we're going to talk about the Doctrine Covenants, section 93.
Now let's turn our attention to another area in here that's really important for us to understand, and that is that the scriptures testify of creation. Obviously, Genesis testifies of creation. Moses testifies of creation. But here's a testament of creation right here. Because he talks about the fact that elements have always existed. He didn't create them. Intelligence, verse 29, or the light of truth was not created or made, nor indeed can be. Elements are eternal. Now, if you study science, you have the periodic table of elements, right? These are the elements or the building blocks that are used for creating everything. And so we could not be created because we always existed. Elements could not be created. They're eternal, always existed. But spirit, which is what your intelligence became, and element combined are what?
A creation.
Yeah. Man. Man is spirit. The elements are eternal. Spirit and element inseparably connected. So in the resurrection, receive a fullness of joy. That goes back to what we talked about a little bit earlier, having that fullness or the fullness of joy.
But also, if you think about in the Book of Mormon, it talks about how Adam fell that men might be, and then that they are to have joy.
Mm-hmm.
And this tells us in the end what our joy is, like how we are to receive that joy.
Exactly. And then it tells us the elements are the tabernacle of God. He has the same kind of a tabernacle, flesh, right? No blood because he's a resurrected being, but flesh and bone, just as we are flesh and bone. So in resurrection, we also have that same tabernacle. So this temple that was created for us is our tabernacle. We are to keep it clean. What does he say if we defile it? Look at verse 35.
He says that God will destroy that temple.
Right. So there's a price to pay when we don't act on the knowledge and intelligence that we do have. The glory of God is intelligence. Or in other words, light and truth. And light and truth forsake that evil one. All right? So right here, you cannot question creation. This is a huge battle in this world. The world would teach you what about this world's existence?
Something blew up and we came out of slime.
That's one way of putting it. They would teach you that there's evolution, that there was this, not necessarily a creation, but these things just kind of evolved into something else, and that we're still evolving. The scriptures put that theory, and it is a theory, down. If you have questions, the scriptures have the answers. And if you believe these scriptures, you can't believe evolution.
I one time was driving along the freeway, and my brother and I picked up a man that was walking along the side, and we gave him a ride. He was an evolutionist, and he talked about evolution and how Dr. So-and-so said, and Dr. So-and-so said, and all of these things. I says, what does the scripture said? He says, oh, I don't know what scriptures say. I says, well, let me tell you. And so...
Don't mess with a seminary teacher.
And so I told him that the scriptures say that God created through his son Jesus Christ and others all of the earth and all of the things that are on the earth, and that they didn't just evolve from something else. And he says, well, how do you know that? I says, well, all you have to do is look at evolution. I said, what made the stone? Well, I don't know. Well, what made the fish? And all of a sudden, it started coming out that those things were made by God and not by man and man's thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And so it becomes very important for us to be able to talk about, you're either talking about man's creation or you're talking about God's creation.
Mm-hmm.
And that becomes very important because God, the scriptures tell us that God is the creator of all things, everything.
Right.
So
Right.
that eliminates evolution.
I love how the scriptures eliminate confusion. If we truly read them and study them and believe them, they eliminate the confusion. It may not give you answers to give to somebody who's really thoroughly convinced in these theories, and sometimes they're really convincing. You don't actually have to have answers for everybody, but you do need to know, and you need to be searching for truth. We keep coming back to truth in this section, don't we? We have to be searching for that truth.
If you've liked our videos, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the bell for notifications. Also, find and follow us on Facebook.